Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new video in the Alton Towers series. Last time we did Smiler, and we're going to move on a little bit, as you can probably tell by the title of the video. We're not doing Oblivion, as, you know, which would be the obvious next, because we're going to move back to Forbidden Valley, which is why I've got this skin back on, my little phalanx skin. So we're going to move back over to Forbidden Valley, yep, right over here. Nemesis going over. And Galactica. Oh, I miss this place, you know, good old days, first few episodes. We're back to add, well, to make a couple changes. And this is sadly one of them. I'm not super sure if I want to get rid of Blade. It was the first ride I made, and I do quite like it. Even if it's very basic. I actually made a change to Blade recently. And you can just see that. It now automatically goes off. Every, like, I think it'll do like a small run and then wait like 20 seconds and then it'll go again. Blade might need to go because, as in real life, they have finally removed Blade as they added their new ride, Toxicator. Right over where this was. I had this when I built Forbidden Valley because it was under construction at the time, and now remove that because we finally make it. After the last video, I have now been to Alton Towers. It was a really good trip, very good trip, and I know you all wanted to know. But I also did get a chance to go on Toxicator, and because again you all want to know, I thought it was really good. I really like Toxicator. I've only been on one other topspin, which was Talakan, so you know it's maybe not as good as that one, but it was still very good. The theming was very good. Which is fun because this is going to be a very fun build to remake. As we do with every other video, area build, we're going to make a layout first. And this should be pretty simple. That's why this video is probably going to be a bit shorter. So anyway, let me just make a little layout, and then we'll go from there. As you can see, I have made a bit of a layout here, and made what is most of the queue. And I've got all three queues. You've got the fast pass and accessibility queue, which are one of these two, and then this is the main queue that goes all the way back here, all the way up this kind of cow pen. I have actually rerouted a lot of this area to be a little bit more accurate, so they have just changed it a good bit. Next to Blade, as of this time, also look, I've changed my skin. Oh, how Toxicatory. Ooh. As of right now, I have put up a post asking if I should remove Blade or not, as in real life it has been removed from the park, and right now it's a resounding no. Blade should stay in the park. So I am going to do that. I think it is kind of a waste to get rid of it. I do really like it. I think I've done decently well here. Blade's going to stay even if it's not the most accurate. It's cool to keep it there. Because other than that, it's just empty. It's not like it's being replaced. It's just gone. So, yeah, there's no harm not getting rid of it. Anyway, this is where the concrete plinth is. That makes it world record tallest topspin. Yeah. Anyway, and this is obviously where the tunnel is. It's got all the markings on the wall, stuff like that. You can go through. This wall might need to change a bit. This is where the detox stuff is. Obviously next to Bunky Night 4 there. I'm going to move on to making the actual structure itself, so how about we get into a little time lapse? Wouldn't that be fun? Alright, this is way too close. Alright, I've done a little bit more work to that Toxicator build. Most of it is in now. And I did add a little bit more on the top bit. There we are. So everything but the ride system's in at this point, except like the exit queue and like the front signs, the detox stuff. But yeah, that is literally just that's all needs to be added, so just like the final details. But yeah, this is Toxicator. I'm pretty happy with it actually. And there's a few little things I've added. So these canisters, obviously they have the animation in real life with the water that goes up and goes up and down. It changes red. At one point, sadly, I did not recreate that, but don't think it's possible. But yeah, and I've somewhat recreated this. Might not be the final version of it, but as you can see, the toxic stuff fills up. It's just a little sequence that goes up and down, and this side does the same thing as well. It's the same on both sides. It fills all the way up. In a second, it's gonna go back down again. Yeah. It goes down a little bit and then goes back up again. It gets faster at points, it goes a bit faster there. All the way back down. It's gonna come back up. And then this is with the platform. So you come up this queue. Oh, there should definitely be fancy. You come up here, and then you get split into two, I think. One group will go here, the other group goes here. And you actually ride over here and you can get on. We've got the fountains. These are command blocks. Pretty simple. Obviously they're not green, but it's the best you can do. The water here isn't green anyway. So. And I decided to add a nice little homage to opening day. A little sewage pipe under there. Don't worry, this one doesn't leak. Let's move on to making the actual ride itself. Alright, so to make the top spin ride, mine is a little bit tricky in create mod, and there is a mod that would actually make it pretty simple, or at least a lot more possible to be most accurate. But for the life of me, I can't get that mod to work. I don't think it's up to date. Create interactive. I've been on the Discord server. I don't think I can get a very good up to date one that worked with Create and all the others. I do not want to downgrade every other mod because there's a lot of updates and stuff that they've made to mods, which have been very useful. So yeah, it's a shame about that, but there is still a working version that I can make, although it's not as accurate, but I'll show that off. I did make this. This is a prototype I made before actually making the ride over there. Just kind of testing out the how I could make it work. And this does work, but this is not the final like model, but kind of shows how it works. You got your arms up here. This is where they'd seat. This is where the seats are, and it can just move around at different speeds. But the only problem is it can't flip. So Create Interactive would have made it so I could twist this and it would flip, but that's just not how it works. Anyway, but this is also a very, very simple contraption. So literally it is just a sequence gear shift. And it just goes back and forth and then finishes, and you've just got bearings and stuff. So let's try and make this thing over here. Anyway, so I have made this, the build, I guess, of Toxicator, mostly anyway, of the ride contraption. So the actual contraption itself is controlled by this mechanical bearing, which controls pretty much everything here except the actual seat area, which is separate. But everything else is controlled by it. And then this seat area is controlled by this mechanical bearing, which is attached to this thing from before. And so it makes this spin differently from everything else, or not spin at all in this case, because that's the best we can really do, because I cannot power this mechanical bearing without Crate Interactive, which doesn't work on this mod pack. So I want to go through kind of the process of what I'm going to do here. I'm going to make this work. So that's the layout we've got, but this is going to need a good bit of create engineering, which I haven't actually done for a ride in a while. It's kind of fun doing something again, but there's not a lot of space down here. But I want this to go all the way down. And then we could probably do this. And then we can use this area over here. These are all the command blocks for... So I could probably move them if I needed to. It's down here. We'll do that. So, what you would usually use is a sequence gear shift. But, well, I am still going to use them. But I want the sequence to last a little bit longer because it's pretty limiting. You only get these 5 stages. So, I want it to last a little bit longer. So I'm going to add 2 here. And I believe, I might be wrong, that the way you add 2 of them onto the system is by using a chain drive like this. I just need to perfectly time it so when this one ends, this one activates. Do something like that. That's going to power everything. Except, well, this isn't getting powered because these are stopping it. They will only power this when they are powered by redstone. And so, I guess I'm just going to make a random preset and then base it off that. So I've got a system that I'm pretty happy with. It's very fast at the moment, so this is not the final speed, but you can kind of just see what I'm going with. This is the first half of the sequence. It does one full flip at the start, then it goes back round, then it goes over the water for a second, back over to this side of the water, it's going all the way back down to here. That's where the first half of it is. And the second half is basically just it flips like 4 times, just as the full thing. Can't really stop it from stopping like that between them, but yeah, it'll be much slower than that, so it'll feel a bit longer. Now I need to make a sequence for it, and I may as well put it down here. So we're going to need a lot of these redstone links going off. We need some redstone, we're going to need this. Extend it. Right, so there'll be a timer as well, which I did with Blade, so it goes off every so often, but I'll do that after. Into here, we have to do it like this. First redstone link, and that's going to do the platform, lowers down. Let's get this. That on there, and then let's do piston 1 meter that way. Wait, new redstone pulse, which we'll do at the end, and same thing, but the other way. Is that done? Should work now. There's a little bit of a problem there, but I've fixed it. And then we're probably going to want a repeater. Give it a couple seconds. Lower. This one can start the first sequence. Now, I don't know how long this is going to take. So I'm going to give it a minute. And then we'll see. And oh yeah, right at the end as well. Once it's done, this needs to go a minute again just in case. I give it a test. That's lowered now. Whoa! Oh, okay, this is gonna be really fast, so timings are gonna be completely wrong. This thing. A little bit back round. Stop here, and then it's gonna wait. This one. So probably should have slowed these down. There we go. The other one goes off. Kill you. Background. Stops. And this will go off. Play. And go. And pick it back up. Play. I might actually make this slow. And then we definitely need to make this slower. Go 4. Let's test that out. Lowering down. Right, that's a bit of a quick lift off there, so change that. The thing is, we want it as close as possible, but it can't go off before because it just won't do anything or break it. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to really just slowly, bit by bit, see how long it takes. Here we go. Yeah, literally, I'm gonna lower this by 5 seconds. Did not mean to do that. Also wanted to change the delay here. I think this was a bit too. Up this up to 5 seconds. And yeah, so the next bit of my life is just going to be testing this a million times to get the thing perfect. So I'll catch up with you later and we can finish off this build, and yeah, that'll be the end of it. No, short video, but it's not very much to do. So I'll catch up with you. Bye-bye. Well, not bye-bye. Oh, yeah. With that, Toxicator is done. I was in a little bit off camera. Still the finishing touches, but I'll show you through them and then we'll do the final tour. So I guess you can see pretty easily straight away. Got these detox things, which obviously in real life dry you if you get wet, which I don't think you really are at the moment anyway. But it has been warm recently, so maybe, I don't know. I didn't get wet when I went on it. But I made the sign here, it's pretty basic, but I think I've established the logo decently well, but at least with the space I've got. Sign. Under here, I've made a few custom paintings, trying to resemble them as best as possible. Varying degrees of quality. Well, this one I don't really like, you can barely tell what it's supposed to be, but it's a hand. You see, that's the thumb. The fingers, that's the index finger. See, it's really how bad it is. This is the thumb. Yeah, I like this one. This one's pretty clear what it's supposed to be. There's a guy, and he's got the tentacle coming out of his arm here. It's supposed to be like, stay away from this toxic stuff. These two, just like kind of cool phalanx stuff, and I've just reused the phalanx logo from the helicopter over there. Okay, you can't see it, but yeah. This side we've got the markings, which I've had to make it a little bit simpler so I can fit them all in. But here it's like Nemesis, and it's supposed to be like the process trying to take the slab from Nemesis, then you have doing some cool stuff with it, and then this is the actual Toxicator machine here. Also added the bits of theming, you could call, just the random canisters around. And over here, up this hill here. And also one other thing I've done, which I forgot to mention last time, why is that glowing? I've made it so these now are triggered to this sequence here. It doesn't really match up. but it is actually timed pretty perfectly and kind of by accident. But yeah, you see, you just stop there and then that's coming up now. As well as I got this whole thing sorted, and it went pretty well. This is what the final outcome looked like. I guess like when I last left it off. I've got this timer here. It was 2 minutes 30 seconds. You also, because I know you really want to know. I had a little bit of Toxicator merch in here. Changed a couple barrels. These diamonds, are the custom Phalanx logos that we had, but the resource pack broke. But I will sort that soon. And I've got some more t-shirts here. It's really important. Oh, there it goes. I got me here. Ooh. Me. Just realised he's supposed to have slim arms. There we go. Also built the exit because really important. But yeah, that's the final ride. Toxicator, and this video pretty much done. So, gonna do a cool little end montage. I'll do a little POV. And yeah, that's it for this one. So, see you later, I guess.
Toxication sequence complete. Toxication sequence initiated. Toxication sequence complete.
Just a little reminder, if you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate it if you did subscribe. It does help the channel grow as well and spreading this project to more people, as well as motivating me to keep.
Toxication sequence complete.
Thank you. Keeping this project going, and I am enjoying it, but sometimes it does get difficult to keep going. But I did really enjoy making Toxicator, but yeah, I thought I'd just throw this on at the end. And if he wants to know, next up, we are going back to Oblivion. I've already made the skin, so. So yeah.